Okay. Is it live this time? The date, the time. Right. Hi, I'm right here. 6:45 p.m. on January 18th, 2022. It is a Tuesday, 40 degrees outside. The music in the background is about to change, but it is from The Expanse. I don't even know if you can hear it. So, anyway, I have been cutting my hair in the last video, and I have no idea why I was supposed to post that or even record it. And I went to go get something to eat, and I noticed I was fidgeting with a bunch of stuff in the apartment. And then I started rearranging all the tarot cards. And then I had to like pause myself to come and sit back down and go, okay, what's the message, right? Why am I so fidgety? And I saw myself shuffling cards and talking to you guys. But it was on a public video because I tried to record 3 of these videos just now and all of them started having errors in them. And the third one, the video wouldn't even go live. It just kept spinning and saying going live. And I was like, okay, what are you doing? And source was like God, spirit, guides, whatever you want to call it. They were like, go live, but go live. Don't go live in private mode, go live. So I thought, okay, well, if it works this time, then that's what it is. And I think we're working now. I think you guys are here. I mean, there's nobody in chat yet, but I'm not surprised. I mean, I don't even know what this is for. I'm assuming it's for Virgo. And I don't usually do these like zodiac sign readings, but I've been feeling the word Virgo a lot in my head today. In my being, I don't know what the American expression is. And yes, I have a stuffed elephant that I'm holding on to because I'm wearing my comfy cozies. And I need your attention to be on the cards and the message. Two of Pentacles, Three of Pentacles. The Star in reverse. Four of Cups. Wow. Okay. I'm gonna like not take these as a spread, but we have the Fool, the Knight of Pentacles, Chariot in reverse. So this might be a message just for a few of you, but you're about to walk away or walk towards something, and there's a message or a gift coming to you from two people who have been working together. And this message or gift is going to kind of elevate you. Maybe it's like a job promotion, like your boss and your supervisor were like, yeah, give that person a promotion. regardless of how that energy is playing out in your life, there is an offer coming to you shortly, which is going to kind of stop you in your tracks and change the course of your life in a really good way. I don't know what way that is, because immediately after the Chariot in reverse is the Queen of Cups, the Eight of Wands. So something elevating you, enlightening you, and bringing you a sense of peace in a way, like clarity. Because we have Judgment, the High Priestess, Two of Swords, and then the Queen of Swords. A message coming in that brings you clarity regarding Lovers in reverse, the King of Swords, and the Six of Pentacles in reverse. A choice that's been made to not make a choice with someone else. It's almost as if the clarity you're about to gain from a gift or a message, something in the physical world, not something you come up with on your own. I mean, not something you think about. It's something someone else brings to you physically. It clears up your confusion, and you see things more clearly, and you decide to do something in a different way. It's as if you're going to be giving to yourself more than you give to others after you hear something or you receive something. The other message here is the back and forth between what you were working on and what others are working on, and what you're working on together as a collective needs to be slightly readjusted towards physical self-care and actual doing of shadow work instead of waiting to be naked with somebody. There's the Four of Cups here after the Star in reverse, which is a complete lack of self-discipline. Refusing what is in front of you to work on something with others instead of taking care of yourself. Oh, that's the energy of the thing I was feeling earlier with all the busy work. Don't do this, don't do that. Keep doing this, keep doing that. Ignore this, do everything you can to ignore that. Work with other people, ignore what you need to heal. Someone points out what you need to heal, you ignore it, and you immediately respond with the sex. Queen of Wands in reverse in the bottom of the deck. Yep. Yep. Yeah, you guys, some of you really need to put the conflict you have within yourselves aside. You have to be honest with yourself. You yourself know where you need to be healing. So whoever it is that I'm talking to, whoever it is that's listening, you yourself know what you need to do to heal your form, your body, your finances, your mind, so on and so forth. If you're constantly going to be ignoring the messages because you're waiting for something that's not even in its right place for you, then it's not like you're kind of waiting for something that even if it was in front of you, you wouldn't see it. The star is down here. She's looking up over there. It's not about being with someone else or not being with someone. It's about being someone you'd want to spend time with yourself. I'm going to describe this energy to you in a very, hold on, let me see what song is going to play here. The energy in this is, oh, right. Florence and the Machine, Shake It Out. This kind of energy that prevents you from seeing and hearing what it is Source is trying to tell you, whatever it is you're distracting yourself with, needs to be shaken out. Because at its core, the star is a wish fulfilled. But in order to fulfill that wish, you have to be the cup that holds the water of that wish, right? If your entire purpose is waiting for someone, or someone to complete you, someone to compliment you, then you're missing the point, right? Because then who's that person going to be with? This person? The woe is me, the cheater, liar, stealer, whatever, the one who's lost in the past, or the one who's too anxious of the future, or someone who's so comfortable with themselves they can be anywhere, in anything, or in nothing, and still know that the love they have with someone is sacred. Because you know you yourself are sacred, that you yourself wouldn't cheat, that you yourself wouldn't lie, that you yourself as a partner would be ideal, right? So if you truly are who you are, why would you be longing for someone else? Validation? Someone to help you do the inner work? Someone to spend time with you? Shake it off. You have to be the kind of person that your grandchildren will be happy to see, regardless of your past, regardless of what you've done or haven't done, regardless of what you thought you were going to be or not be. Can the next 3 generations of your life and your lineage look back on you and say, wow, that was an awesome person? Or are they going to look back and say that person just avoided doing everything they needed to do to take care of themselves, and they focused on doing it with all these other people? All the while they were sitting there longing for something that Source was throwing right in front of their face for them, but they couldn't see it. Because they thought that the reflection in the water of the star in the heavens meant that the star was in the water. They couldn't see clearly. A lifetime of this brings a lot of moments like this. And this is, I think, what people fail to realize. After a lifetime of trauma and abuse, boredom is what they call healing. If you're bored, it's probably because you're healing. If you're longing, guess what? You've come farther than you thought you did. Now you're longing for something that you're closer to, instead of battling something you're away from. But the memory of this still lingers, doesn't it? But you turn your back to that and you focus on what you want. And what you want is somebody who went through getting all those tattoos, right? Supposedly, or whatever. But here you don't have the tattoos. Which means at some point, this person has to become so true to who they are that they're willing to mark it on their body for the rest of their life. And then they get the partner. Because a partner is looking for someone just as authentic as they are to themselves. Nothing to hide. Even if there's nothing growing, they'll make something grow together. Because you made something grow by yourself. They made something grow by themselves. In more ways than one. So if you want the healing, if you want the focused attention and the illumination and enlightenment within yourself, then it's high time you actually allow yourself to have some fun. Instead of being worried about what other people are doing, instead of being worried about whether you're good enough or not, or pretty enough or not, or what other people are doing, and being the evil queen in Snow White, and who's the fairest of them all. Oh, it's that person, go rip their heart out. Like being better than that, addressing all that and utilizing it, and knowing that even the fire you have within you isn't meant to be doused, it's meant to be forged into a weapon you can use to create a boundary that says, not today, not today, bitches. And then you go and turn around. Hey, honey, you want some dinner? Not everything has to be handled in a way where you need to get off your throne. And if you don't have a throne, it doesn't mean you need to be throwing anything at the people on a throne. It means, what do you have right where you are? Family, home, friendships, neighborhoods, water, air, nature, life, creativity, love, and kindness, and all that stuff, right? Why aren't you enjoying it? Instead, you're looking at it or turning your back to it. What a waste, right? So much potential gone because some people don't want to address their own shadow side. And then they look at someone else that has addressed their shadow side and they're like, oh, look at those two sluts. Can't believe they're naked. The audacity. Mm. But instead, what can you do? Okay, you guys got that? That means I can have something too, right? That means I'm destined for something too. It means if I just do the work too, then I can get what's meant for me, right? And then when you do that, what do you get? What's meant for you, with or without tattoos. But as long as you're focused on the other one, then both these cards become depictions of what other people are going to get. Because some people are still stuck in this. And this card is the epitome of ignorance of future and past, and focusing on, why don't I have more? And if I gain more, then that means I have to grieve the loss of what I've had with the Five of Cups, don't we? So there's a fear of even getting love from someone else, because then that means you have to acknowledge that the love you had before is gone. Three of Swords. First it was a Two of Cups. And then when someone else came into your life, a puppy, a child, a friend, a lover, a third party, a mother, whatever, it wasn't just two cups anymore. But you were still the person that held on to those two cup mentalities. The only reason you had your cup filled was to bring another cup into it at some point, right? And then you did. And then you attracted the same exact thing, somebody who wanted their cup filled just so they could be with somebody else with a full cup. And then they cut their cup, brought someone else into it. And then that cup brings someone else into it. And by then you're just like, I don't care anymore. And then what happens? There's a resistance, a building off of even receiving another cup because of the acknowledgement of all that has passed. And the fear and knowing of the next cup that comes is going to break your heart even more. And what happens after that? We have Six Cups. Family, reuniting, making peace with the past, remembering things, beautiful nostalgia. And then we get more people into our lives, and then we have Seven Cups. And then that's when the confusion kicks in. The gossip, the lies, the competitions, and all that other shit. And then when more people get involved, we simply say, oh, forget it. Eight of Cups, we're walking away. And then we go back to the Ninth Cup. We meet someone else, we bring someone else into someone else's life, into something else, more wisdom, more this, more that. And then we think we have wish fulfillment. And then we get the Ten of Cups. But all the while, you've still been the person who's in the Four of Cups. watching life go by, missing the whole point. You can have this now, right now. God can drop it right into your lap right now. If you simply become so vulnerable that you welcome a broken heart. Because you know that it takes chaos to create this. It takes force to create this. And it takes sorrow, time, space, reality, death, and life to create this. And if you can handle that, you get this. Because then you become a part of the flow of life, the eternal dance, the friggin' unity of working with everybody. But you have to get out of this energy of Four of Cups, of thinking you're not good enough, of thinking that other people are better, of thinking of what other people are doing, or trying to copy or steal, or just being too afraid to even be sad. You want this? You gotta go through stuff, don't you? You saw me shuffle this deck. I mean, what else do you need me to say about this? This is an energy that's going across everybody in the world. This fear of receiving more, because they know that then if they receive more, they have to accept that they're not the person who had less anymore. It's like the sorrow of being homeless and then having a home. There is a bitter sweetness to it, because you have to let go of who you were. And then you have to start thinking about buying couches. You even have to look at the devil a different way, because you realize a lot of the stuff you blamed the devil for, you were doing yourself. They're not chained, and the devil isn't stopping them. They were stopping themselves by not picking up those swords. Hey, Tristan, how are you? See? See? Four of Cups earlier. And I was saying, if you get the next cup, where are you going to go? The Five of Cups. What happens after that? And then what happens after that? But you're going to have to accept offers from people. You're going to have to let yourself receive. Which means you're going to have to let your heart be broken. It's the only way. So I don't know who these messages are for, but you have to become brave enough. You have to. What is that expression? The only way out is through. Hey, Becca. I couldn't make this up if I tried, you guys. Somebody really needed to hear these messages. There's something so friggin' amazing happening for a lot of you, and the key to all of it is, please be vulnerable. Some of you don't even realize. You think you're walking away from something, but you're walking towards your legacy, your destiny. You think you're walking away from so-and-so and this and that, or this addiction, or whatever, but you're literally walking towards who you're meant to be. It's like that analogy of the person that has the tattoos and the person that doesn't. They're two different people. One person knew what they wanted, the other person did. They did it, you know? Oh my God. As soon as you get out of your comfort zone, as soon as you literally stand up to God, the God you think exists. So, like, you know how some people are like, oh, God is evil, or oh, God is good, or oh, God is a demiurge, or oh, God is Jesus, or whatever. As soon as you say, I've had enough of what you tell me God is or God isn't, and you allow yourself to get out of your comfort zone and reshake your sense of reality for just a minute, like shake your sense of reality for just a minute. Be a bitch to yourself for just a minute and let yourself see what's been in front of you in a mirror all along. That you sometimes need to get constructive criticism told to you because you sometimes don't listen properly when people sugarcoat it, right? It's like being a kid in a candy store and we all think the candy is so sweet, but we don't realize all the stuff that goes into making that candy. As soon as you let yourself get out of your comfort zone and stop waiting for something to like come to you and just get angry and like you sound the trumpet yourself and you're like, I've had enough of waiting. You get everything. Everything. It's like God is asking you guys, can you please start behaving more like gods instead of people waiting to be saved? Get out of the comfort zone of waiting for someone to save you. When you do, you realize you never needed healing or saving. You were just playing small because you wanted to nurture a part of you that you were protecting deep in the garden of you. So you thought that you needed somebody to play guardian. And some of you thought, oh, there's nobody there. It's just me. Well, biatch, that's the point. That's the point. It was supposed to be just you because you're capable of this. And you were pretending to be this. And really, it wasn't pretending for the entire species, was it? We really are this. But we really are also all this. For as capable of this as we are as a species, we're also capable of doing this and looking at our actions like this and saying, so what? And when we deny that, we don't get to heal. You see, you can't wield a sword if you don't know how to hurt someone with it and protect. You can't hold the scales of balance if you yourself can't maintain a balance. How are you going to say that other things are balanced or aren't if you can't hold your hand steady to show the balance within you as a species? So play it out however you want to play it out in your day to day life. The key is the same. Can you see your own imbalance? If you can you adjust it? If you can you let go of who you were that couldn't? The excuses, the procrastination, the projections, the altruistic martyr self, the archetype of the whatever you want to attach yourself to, person, place, thing, power, principality, or the matrix, not the matrix. I don't care. They're all excuses. They're all reasons. Can you look past them and see you, yourself, barefoot, where you stand with what nature gave you? Can you balance yourself all the way back to that as a species, but not have to actually experience in a freaking Armageddon, a post apocalyptic world, or a zombie this, or an ex, or a breakup, or a firing of a job, people passing away in your life, blah, blah. Can you balance yourself back to this humbleness while you wield a sword and wear a crown? If you can't, how can you possibly claim to know what God is doing in your life? when God, source, is unfathomable? And then how can you create laws based on what you think God wants? And then how can you treat each other in a way that you think is right or wrong when you forgot all about this? The basic function of the human. Stand on the earth, create with what the universe gives you. Look up at the stars and do not lie. And enjoy each other's company. What part of heaven on earth includes forcing each other into situations of this? If heaven on earth means this and this, why perpetuate this? Why find positive energy in this when the alternative is this? And the universe holds before you the scales of justice and says, choose. Which one do you want? You want this energy in your physical form? Or do you want, where is it? You get out of here. Your methods are changing soon, Mr. Hierophant. Which one is heaven on earth to you? This one, right? How many excuses do you have to not let yourself enjoy this right now? You don't have to tell me, but how many? How many did you name in that split second in your own mind? You don't have to lie to me. God hears you. So when you know what this energy is, and you know that inside you is somebody who goes, I don't give a fuck, then why wouldn't you train that I don't give a fuck version to calm their ass down and master that first before you attempt to wield that sword and then have camaraderie with others who also think they can wield that sword, but they can't even lift it. It's too heavy. There has to be a point in time where the wheel of your life turns so strongly that you can't go back to the way you were. And you have to be okay with that. And God can either bring that to you through destruction, through Armageddon, through the abyss rising up, through the skies falling down, through Lightbringer after Lightbringer coming down, through the mother of creation herself taking a form and sitting in front of you, whatever. Or we can just admit as a species how terrible we've been to each other and simply stop it. No great wars, no mess of prophecies, no terraforming new planets, no creating different matrices, no different realities, no nothing. Just fucking let it be. Can you? Or do you need Jesus to show up? Again. Are you going to break your own chains, or are you going to wait for somebody to hand you a sword? My grandparents lived on a farm and in a mansion. My great-grandparents lived on a farm, an orchard, and a mansion. I have barely ever had a bedroom of my own up until 3 years ago. Am I still that person? Abso-fucking-lutely. Did I need somebody to come and tell me how to break free of the devil? Sometimes. But did I stand there being afraid of the devil? Sometimes. Did I make up excuses and blame other people and procrastinate? Sometimes. Did I wait for someone to save me? Sometimes. Did I bend my knee to God and say, "Oh Lord, why have you forsaken me?" Sometimes. And you know what God did? That. God sat there and looked at me, showed me the way, and just looked at me. I didn't pick up that sword. I left it there. And I saw those chains that were on me, and I made them into bracelets. I saw that devil, and I bedazzled his horns, gave him a big hug, and then went on my merry fucking way. Because you know why? The devil is just the other side of God. The side that God needed to take to scare some of you back into common sense. Not a war, not prophecies, not people dying or being sacrificed or all sorts of fucking abuse. Just sitting there like a statue and telling you guys, do you see that everything you've done has been based on what you thought, not what God was actually showing you for 2,000 plus years? You guys did what mankind said. We all did. We all betrayed ourselves. We all know that in every breath we inhale and exhale, we have a choice, up or down, good or bad, kindness or hatred, forgiveness or anger, anger or a sigh of relief. It's always a choice. And no God and no demon is sitting there whispering into your ears saying, do this or do that. Because this is where you actually are. You're resting in the womb of the Great Mother, if that's how you want to look at it. And there is no devil in there other than you, yourselves. So stop pretending you see anything other than what's inside of yourselves. Stop making demons out of angels. Stop making archons out of aeons. And stop villainizing each other. All these years, you know, accusing people and like being accused and all that stuff. You know what someone once told me that has stuck with me for so long? If you're going to accuse me, I may as well. But then there's a point where you realize, what's the point? What's the point of conflict in you towards anything? Whether you miss someone and you want to call them, or you want to rearrange your apartment and you don't know how, or you want to whatever. What's the problem? What's the actual common sense problem? And what's the actual common sense simple solution? No, regardless of all forms of society, when it's just you and God, what's the solution to your problem? It can't be something as ephemeral as, oh, God will take care of it. God made you and billions of life forms to take care of it. So if you're not figuring it out right now for yourselves, break it down even more. What's the simple, naked truth to your problem? because the problem and the solution exist in the same space and time, but they're twisted. So if the problem is that a sword cuts you, then maybe you need to hold it from a different angle. If the problem is you think there's demons and entities and all that stuff, maybe it's time to look at the light instead. If the problem is you miss someone and you can't reach out or free yourself or you feel stuck, the solution is speak, call out. Your hands are tied, speak. Your eyes are blindfolded, use your hands. Your heart's hurt and you can't, feel your way through it, use logic. Your clairaudience or your hearing isn't as good anymore. Okay, use your sight, use taste, use braille. You don't know how to receive kindness or love anymore in life. You don't know how to take care of yourself or how to do shadow work. Okay, then that's the problem, isn't it? The confusion. How do you clarify the confusion then? Instead of trying to address every thread, how do we encompass the entire color of confusion and say, let's change it from gray to purple? What you're confused about holds the exact answer, because if you remove the confusion, there's the clarity. If you want someone, why keep yourself away from them? If they don't want to be with you, why want something that doesn't want you? If you want a job and you're not qualified to do the job, then why don't you train yourself to do it in your spare time? If you have addictions you're trying to get rid of and you're constantly battling the addiction and the negative energy from the addiction, then the common sense thing would tell you, why don't you learn how to transmute energy instead of fighting an addiction? If there is a disease within the body and you're like, oh, well, it's this or that, or it's terminal or whatever the fuck it is, then obviously your body is telling you you can't go down this way anymore. Okay, what's the other way? Instead of thinking, oh no, you have 6 months or whatever. Well, no, that's that timeline. So the solution to that problem is a complete change of diet, complete change of lifestyle habits, etc., right? Common sense. You want your hair to be stronger, you're going to probably eat more biotin and stuff. You want to see the stars, you're going to turn off the lights. You want to go to bed, you want to go to sleep, you're probably going to go to bed. I mean, it's very difficult to sleep standing up. Dumbify it for yourselves. And I know it sounds silly, but you have to recognize you must use that negative energy. You can't let it just drift off into the ethers and be like, oh, it'll be transmuted. No, babes, it's your job to do it. Your job to do it. No one's coming to free you. You have all the tools you need, right? So how do you use them? What area of your life is lacking that you're refusing to see? So it's like some people think energy and stuff is just woo woo. Well, the woo woo part is the devil part keeping you away from doing your research on it. The people that are like, oh, it's a conspiracy theory, that energy is the thing keeping you from doing the research on it. Oh, I want this person or I don't want that person. That energy is the reason why you're still single, because you're emitting an energy of I want, I don't want, which creates a void that you hold on and say, I don't want that. Here is the energy of me saying I don't want that, and I'm holding on to this so that source knows I don't want that. So you can't feel this because right here it says I don't want it. And then you're like, oh, there's an energetic block. Well, obviously. And if you don't use that negative energy, what does it do? Whereas if you turn that negative energy in on yourself, what happens? Fuck this. Fuck that. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not doing this anymore. You get a little bit of an edge to you, don't you? There's a little sharpness around all those curves and edges. A little bit of bite. A little bit of self-respect. A little bit of strength. And all it took was for God to play that role for you so that you could say, I've had enough of that. If you want this, it can't be this. You have to be done with this to get to this. And if you want this, you have to go through this. So who's really keeping you from this? That? Those chains? No weapon formed against you shall prosper. So why would you make up that excuse of chains keeping you trapped? Not possible. So stop lying to yourselves. It has nothing to do with money or your physical body or your health level or your surroundings. Nothing. The only thing that's keeping those chains attached to your legs is that you wrapped them around your leg and sat there and put shoes on. Do you see it yet? The only enemy has been within yourselves because as a species, we haven't wanted to accept this. Because it means having to let go of that and letting that have its own this. Do you know how much it takes to get to the Nine of Pentacles on your own? To really be in connection with spirit, nature, the physical, financial world, being able to grow food on your own, being able to make your own clothes, being able to take care of yourself fully, inside and out. And people think, oh, this means it's just I'm single. No, it means you're practicing to be a god. After this, it's the Empress or the Queen of Pentacles, and then it's the Empress, and then. Exactly, Becca. When my ex used to tell me, I would joke around and I'm like, oh, sometimes I just feel like I want to run outside and go fly. And he's like, you don't have to run. When you want to do it, you're going to do it. Until then, enjoy the ground. Okay. When you're ready, you'll do it. When you're not, you're going to pretend that there's a devil keeping you from doing it. And all I'm saying, and all God's saying to you is, are you ready for some common sense? And to actually put the work in to yourself? Or do you still want to pretend that a butterfly just goes to sleep and wakes up a butterfly? Because a butterfly has to go, fuck this, I'm gonna goop. And then it comes back all freaking glorious and flaps around. But we don't realize the chaos it took within that cocoon, the destruction, the life, the death, the literal oozing of what it is into something completely nothing. The infinite potential of all the things a butterfly can be, and then suddenly, bloop, it's a fucking different being. Because at some point the caterpillar said, fuck this. Tired of crawling around, tired of munching on leaves, tired of this and tired of that. What's next? And then the other ones are sitting there going like this. How do we get out of this situation? I mean, are you really stuck? We all know all the memes and jokes about the Eight of Swords. But if we look at it as a genuine person, as a genuine situation, it's kind of silly, isn't it? I mean, look at it in a comedy movie genre. Someone standing there with 8 swords, really terribly placed, their hands very loosely tied, a blindfold where they can still see down if they look down, even though they're blindfolded, and someone standing there taking a picture of them. Do you really think anyone's going to be like worried or stressed or coming to help? But if this person is standing there for so long and they forget that they're in a photo shoot, they'll probably get a little freaked out and not know which way to go because they'll remember, oh no, there's all these swords around. I didn't memorize which way, I can wiggle my way out of this. Oh no, I didn't remember which thread I'm supposed to pull in the back to undo these hand thingies. Oh no, is anybody still there? Am I supposed to talk yet, or am I still being photographed? They can't tell, right? But if you just open, like if you just say, hey, then somebody's gonna like notice, right? Somebody around there, which is obviously somebody taking this picture, because you're never alone. And then on a whole different level, there's some people who can talk to animals. Maybe this person was tied up this way to get them to learn how to use a different power. Maybe they were too clairvoyant and they're being taught how to be clairaudient, or to use their voices to like manifest. You don't know why God put you in the situations God put you in. But if you're going to pretend to be, woe is me, save me, then you missed the point, didn't you? And then God's kind of just going to be looking at you like, girl, bye. Like, you thought I made you in my image to be weak like that? Uh-uh. Uh-uh. Some people don't comprehend when, like, when God wants you to be this, God will put you through this to get you to get yourself out of there to be that. And it's up to you guys if you want to keep making this out to be the enemy or an ally. That was the only ally able to get to you at that level. It's kind of like having a fallen angel, and the fallen angel comes to earth, and people are like, oh no, it's a fallen angel. Well, it kind of had to fall to get to where you are, right? I mean, it didn't rise up, it was already in heaven. So it had to fall, and when it fell, it looked like this because the atmosphere burned everything off of it. And then it brought you this so that you can cut yourself loose, take a break, and find your self-worth. But some of you were busy going, oh my God. But God's still like, yo, everything you want is on the other side of you saying it's not time yet. Everything. This is okay. It's okay for you to be in the Nine of Wands. It's okay for you to do magic. It's okay for you to set boundaries. It's okay for you to say, no, not right now, maybe later, I need to sleep on it. It's okay for you to walk away from people you thought were going to help you raise children, or that you were, being raised by. It's okay. Whatever you think you need to do that isn't okay, as long as it's not harming anyone, including yourself, it's okay. Because sometimes that pain is what brings that pain, that wound, that sorrow in a mother and a father. It turns them into a warrior. Sometimes when you deny sexual energy within yourself, you lose who you were. Sometimes we even deny ourselves pleasure or happiness. We're like, no, we need to walk away from that. No, you need to walk towards that. You deserve to feel good. So does everybody else. But until you can make yourself feel good in your own space, in your own boundaries, without anyone else, don't bother walking towards anyone. First, that, your cup. Then, all those other cups. So make this moment in your life a moment where it's like the wrinkle in time, where you make a decision. No matter how much it hurts, the way you've hurt yourself is worse. So let it be. Grieve if you need to, cry, write it out, scream it out, put a bunch of pillows on the bed and punch them. I don't know. Go for a run. You guys have like technology I don't know about. You guys have gadgets and apps and God, drugs and like medicines and hoverboards. I don't know what the fuck else you guys have out in this world. But you have the tools at your disposal to better your life. First and foremost, it's a decision. You have to get out of who you thought you were to be who you are. And that's going to change too, all the time. People are so linear. They think everything goes from point past to point present to point future. It doesn't work that way. And I can't even explain to you how it works because it's like explaining space to a fish. I can't explain to you how time works. I can't explain to you how the astral realm or the dream realm or any of them work. And I can't even explain to you how the matrix works or any of the other matrices because we're in them. What I can tell you is the emotional, mental, physical process and sensations of what the Rubik's Cube needs you to feel to emit those colors out of you so that you can shift. So when I'm doing all the talking and I'm repeating certain things, those of you that know recognize that it's a kind of a vocal activation of certain genes in you that bring you to a point of realizing your power for yourself. So Source makes me repeat shit over and over, whether I realize it or not during these channeling states, so that you can get it, that it's not what I'm saying, it's what's being pointed at. Exactly, Becca. Thank you. God, I'm so glad you're here. I don't know how to talk to you guys like a normal person, as a human being. I really don't. I'm just learning. It's taken me 41 years to be able to interact with people as a people, and not like off with their heads type of energy or an iron fist or any of that. Like, it's taken me a while to integrate into the human form. So when I'm bringing information to you, exactly, swimming through pockets to find optimal destinations. And you have to keep swimming. You can't stay still when you're like, "Ooh, there's a pocket right there. Ooh, I like this one. It's comfy." No, fishy, keep swimming. Keep going. Now learn what the runes mean. Learn what Odin went through. Learn where lizards came from. Remember where tattoos started from. What's the significance of garnets and rubies on your feet? Why wear that stuff? What's the spiritual metaphor of these? Remember, where you are in the world is a reflection, it's a metaphor, it's a literal literacy type of thing. Okay, whatever you want, it's right there, but it's there for you in a metaphor of its actual thing. It's like a projection, kind of like if I'm holding this here and this here, you can't really see that this candle is here, but it's right there. And then if you can only see the candle, you see the reflection here, and then it's here, and then it distorts everywhere. You're the key between all those points. Your emotions, the way you think, what you hear, what you see, and the way you give meaning to it gets you to move from point A to point B. In order to really see where you're going, it's not about the eyes, it's about the internal structure of you and those thought forms around you. You can be sitting there in a world where they're saying it's 2022 and there's 1,000 meteors falling to the earth. 10 seconds later, you can be in a world that has the same problem, but this time it's a pandemic. 10 seconds after that, it's a global whatever. 10 seconds after that, it's a alien invasion or some shit. And then, at some point, it's a nexus convergence of all of them. You don't need to experience any of it. But you will if you hold within yourself any form of illusion, because those experiences are created by Source to break the veils of illusion. So if you can see who you are within yourself without having to see who you are, if you can realize your surroundings are metaphors of your physical, mental, emotional, spiritual structure, then you can literally shift reality around you instantaneously by simply shifting your mood and your focus. No wars are needed. No disease needs to be cured. No governments need to be upturned or reformed or whatever. No societies are secret or otherwise matter, because you realize you can just shift with grace, silence, dignity, truth, self-respect, beauty, creation itself. You focus on the parts and you keep going and going and going. Instead of saying, oh no, we have to stop. There's something here. We need to fight. Fuck it. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. It's all about you, not them, but you. What you want to let go of to feel what you want, and who you want to have around you. It's not any more complicated than that. You don't need to be stripped down naked into a post-apocalyptic world with just trees and air cleaners and space stations and infertility problems of a species and having to go back in time to fix the species. You don't need all that. You don't need drama. You don't need breakups. You don't need conflict. You don't need fighting. You don't need all that. You don't need clothes. You don't need food. You don't need shelter. You don't need warmth. You don't need fire. You don't need anything. And God made you to not need God. Because God doesn't need God. God is God. It needs nothing. So why would you spit in the face of the infinite creator and say, I need, I want, I crave, I long for, when God's just going to look at you and say, well, why don't you go and get it? What do you want me to do? Hand it to you on a silver platter? 9+ billion times scattered through infinity, you want me to sit there, every version of you, to cater to your needs? Infinitely, eternally, bleeding light through the cosmos. And God does it anyway. Just so you can have what you want. And all you have to do for it is ask with an open heart and pure vulnerability. Faith, trust. Instead of this bullshit, bro. Like, turn away from that and focus on your own cup. Thank you. Finally, it's upright. Chariot, upright, 7 of Cups, illusions being fought off. What are they being fought off with? The light. What's the light? That you are confusion itself. No one's confusing you. You're the one manifesting the confusion. You're the one downsizing the confusion. You are the 7 of Cups yourselves. When you can claim that power and utilize the negative energy within you and around the world to shape it, to fire it. For real, the solar plexus is the part where all that light shines through. It's the center of willpower, of knowing what you want and fucking going to get it, and not caring whether somebody else is sitting on a throne and saying, you can't do that. Well, fuck you. Who made you God? Oh, right, you're God, right? We're all God? Okay, so why are you busy with what I'm doing in my universe? Is yours so boring? Or you can bite your tongue and let old men on thrones tell you what to do and how to reap your harvest. You can let legacies of generations gone by tell you what to do with your body. Or you can pick up that scythe and say, I've had enough. I lead my life. I decide my fate. God made me in God's image, and I choose what I choose. You can poison the fields. You can destroy the buildings. You can, you know, tarnish the air and even blaspheme any religion and any creation. But you're still going to do you. Because even with all the other cups around, it's always been just you and God, first and foremost. And Becca, you're right. The solar plexus is a part in humans where they abuse it a lot, which is why we see so many people with really, 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 really like either overblown or underdeveloped solar plexuses or energy centers. When I was in my that state growing up in my 20s, I had I think it was an 8-pack. And after years of grief and abuse and shit, it was just tired. My body felt tired. It felt like that. And it was to do with the solar plexus, the area and within the body which is connected to your sense of self. And when people are, come on, when people don't respect themselves and they wait for validation from others and they allow the grief of the past to infect their now while they form pointless fights in their own mind, when that shit happens, it really affects the energy centers in the body, just like it affects your lungs if you hold your breath for too long. Focus, come on. There we go. If you want to know how to work on your solar plexus in a really easy way, look in the mirror and tell yourself all your excuses. And then listen to the voice inside you that criticizes every single thing you're saying. Try it. 3 of Cups, the Fool, 4 of Wands, Page of Pentacles. When people come to you with genuine emotion to express things to you, don't allow it to weigh you down and don't allow it to lift you up. Allow it to be what it is. Hear it, take it with a grain of salt, write it down if you need to, come back to it. But don't let it decide your path. We are all lights. We all have our own cups, and we're all in this place and doing different things in different parts. Do not let other people's cups influence which leap of faith you take. Because a leap of faith that the Source has intended for you is into the stability of the rest of your life for you and your children. But it requires you to be that. And then to know when to do that. And to not feel like you are less than when you are kneeling, showing respect, or sitting. When you're tired, when you're wounded, when you're whatever in the human world or in any other. That you don't feel less than that. When you can go through that stuff, that's when, boom, it's like a massive pulse across your entire auric field. There goes the solar plexus. There goes the sacral. There goes the root chakra. No more fears. And then that goes into the ground. And then Gaia sends it back up and goes ding right in your heart. And then you have an emotional outburst and you cry and you feel relieved. And then you spread your arms and stretch and you say, I'm free. Because you realize all that negative self-talking that you had, all those excuses you had, were keeping you from being that. And when you can thank them, you realize that even the thorns you were in were just your friends. It's like a sleeping dragon. See? When you can look at the world without enemies in it, you can see the lessons in it far quicker. And think about it in a very utopian kind of way, right? If everybody in the world, if everybody individually chose no more bullshit, if everyone chose peace, one by one, individually, in their own lives, if they all just said, I've had enough, we'd have world peace, wouldn't we? But that involves the common sense of every single living individual, which has been tainted by the lack of common sense by other individuals. So if you want to adjust all of that, then you got to send a wave out into the ether, don't you? Like a solution into a bowl. So if you have like a muddy water, you drop a capsule in it and it cleans it, right? And then it's drinkable. If you have an entire society of people that are stabbing each other in the back, what do? You bring one in that isn't stabbable, and if they are, they're not going to stab back. They're just going to heal it and walk on because it's pointless to even have conflict. And now what does that one person act like? An antivirus, right? And then that person has the 100th monkey effect. But if you add hundreds of thousands of millions of life forms, not just human, that are constantly bringing up that little reminder that conflict is pointless, then what happens in the grand pool that we're all swimming in? When conflict arises, when lies arise, when betrayal shows up, what happens? We immediately remember, right? There's an emotional state that goes, oh, wait, that's not right. It's like a bell that rings inside. That's what needs to turn back on. That's what most of these readings are for you, whether we all realize it or not. At what point are we all going to collectively say, okay, now's the time to be a better person? I think that time is coming, because now it's focused into the solar plexus and sacral and root chakra of the human species, which means that it's already gone through the crown, it's already gone through the third eye, it's gone through the throat and through the heart. Now it's simply the people themselves allowing themselves to be more independently confident, if that makes sense. To find their confidence and their true love in source, their religious figure, and the earth. To have that channel between them, between their God and their representatives of God and their planet, instead of Bob, Betty, whatever else in the world. Just you, God, who to you is a representation of God in the world, and how you behave. If even one of you that watched this video can do that and maintain that state of grace for 16-second increments, then we can bring in the thread of science. We can bring in the thread of fantasy, the threads of energy work, self-improvement, the threads of magic, the threads of truth, the threads of society, empires, and civilizations. And we can go like this to all of them, because the choice is always here and now. If you do it, then everyone you come in contact with will have that pulse being emitted into them of I chose to be peace. And then when somebody goes whack or whacks you, you can just kind of grab their hand instead. And then you get what Jesus meant when he said, forgive them, they know not what they do. Because they don't. It's not that they're stupid. It's not that they're blind to something. It's that they literally cannot know what they cannot know because they are not allowing themselves to know it. The Tesla coil. I really don't know much about the Tesla coil. I have memories of being around Nikola, but I don't remember exactly what the fuck he was doing. I remember all the lightning though. And the things I've read about it in this lifetime were mainly to do with how to make different types of orgone devices when I had my Etsy shop. So I don't know anything about it really in this lifetime, but those of you watching later, and I don't know if the chat's going to show up later or not, I hope it does. Becca said something about the Tesla coil. So work on that maybe, I don't know. It might be something important. It seems like what I remember about it is that it took the concept of lightning being a force of destruction into lightning being a force of beauty and creation. And it was all due to a change of perception. Lightning wasn't changed. Metal wasn't changed. Lightning striking metal wasn't changed. Lightning striking the earth wasn't changed. Lightning striking a human wasn't changed. But the perception of the human and slight movements of chemical compounds like copper and silver instead of maybe like iron and steel. Simple adjustments. And then the confidence to sit there and say, okay, it's lightning. Let's see what it does. It does something to people. But in order to get to that point, to be a genius, to be able to create something, we need to go back to that, okay, fuck this mindset. And not in a way where you give up or, just surrender to God and wait for God to do it all for you. But to realize you're a part of God and God became you and you're here, and so are billions of other versions of God. And if we can just kind of stop being third graders, maybe we can do something with the Tesla coil that, I don't know, hasn't been done yet. I keep seeing it in my mind and it reminds me of those plasma orbs. It's kind of like what it's showing me is, oh, I'm being asked to ask you, what would it feel like if lightning was sparking? Where's the rib cage? The chicken bone, the wishbone is like right here, right in between your rib cage. So like, what if you had lightning right there? If you can give yourself a few seconds of attempting to emulate that sensation, maybe like do this to your solar plexus area, stimulate it, and then I know some people have problems feeling confidence. I know I do sometimes, a lot of the times. Maybe if you do some crunches or like sit-ups and just kind of like really squeeze your abdomen, really squeeze it, and then just release and keep doing those contractions. But while you're doing them, utilize your mind's ability to see and bring in lightning into it. And then pay attention to how you feel, because that feeling is going to be signaling your subconscious that you want to be more than what you perceive yourself to be. which means your subconscious is going to illuminate all the things you're holding on to that are preventing you from doing that. I think you should do it. I'm going to go try it. I haven't tried that before. I hope I don't blow the world up. Sorry. Okay, let's give you another card or two, and then I'm going to close this out because it's getting thirsty. I think the ladies want to say something to you guys. The music just changed to India Ari, I Am Light. Becca, can you believe some of the messages that come through me when I'm doing these fucking readings? Man, I can't believe some of the things God and guides have me saying that I don't even know. And I'm like, wait a minute. And then I have conversations with myself where I'm like, well, how does that even make sense? And then I'm like looping while I'm on fucking camera. I'm like, oh, wait, no, that does make sense. All right. Okay, I get it. All the while, the video's still fucking recording for like 10 minutes. And I'm sitting there having a conversation with my guides. And people are like, did you realize you're talking to yourself for that long? Yes, go away. Don't question my methods. Respect my authority. the, the Empress of Protection and the Princess of Mercy. I am safe and divinely protected. I am held in love at all times. Okay, common sense. I'm a Gemini moon too in my tropical, I think. Yeah, tropical. And it takes a certain sense of humor, like you're saying, to get it. It really does, because other people that don't have this duality thing, like, figured out, they're like, oh my God, this bitch is crazy. She has split personalities. No, it's not a split personality. It's just my other twin right there. It's not... Anyway, common sense. This. Look, if you're held in love at all times, then that means any conflict in your life is caused by you. So what do you think God is going to do? Look at you and go, poor baby, let me have some mercy on this little child who's going batshit crazy in my hand thinking I'm crushing it. Or do you think it's God is just going to keep like squeezing you in their hand to show you that you're more protected, to make you safer? Or do you think God's going to like pick you up and dangle you like this and say, are you still afraid? Are you still afraid? And then some people are like, oh, God, have mercy on us. We afraid of you, God. And God's like, okay, be afraid. Here, be more afraid. Like, you're held in love. You're fucking held in love. What are you crying out for mercy for? I mean, there comes a point where I just look at all this in a way, in reality, when I'm meditating, and I can't help but wonder, like, what is it within the human being that wants to bend a knee and cry before an invisible God and say, have mercy on us, for we have sinned? When God's like, bro, I love you. What are you doing to yourselves? And people are like, we ate from the apple. We're so horrible. We do all these terrible things. Please have mercy on us. And God's like, y'all are doing that to yourselves. It has nothing to do with me. You have mercy on yourself. What do you want me to do? Sprinkle you with glitter? Like, I gave you the apple, told you what's good and bad. And then you're like, oh God, protect us from the bad. Bitch, it's all in you. Protect you from what? You want me to restrain your arms? Because then you're going to say I ate a sword to you. So how am I supposed to have mercy on you, oh child of light? Oh, protect us from the evil. Bitch, the evil is in you. Oh, protect us from people in the world who are doing horrible things in government. Well, you're giving them that power. I mean, you're held in love at all times. So we're not listening to this frequency right now, Source. Sorry. Ugh. That frequency that was playing was 1748 hertz, and it's apparently the new frequency of the earth or something. I'm not going to bombard you guys with it here, but the Schumann resonance or whatever that you guys are looking at, side note from all this, is incorrect. The actual frequency of the earth isn't a fucking 1.83 hertz. Are you kidding me? This has more frequency than 1.83 hertz. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. The earth's frequency is like 1740 something and higher, not 1.8. This isn't even 1.8 frequency if you measure it. Me speaking, this voice emits at least 222 hertz. And you're telling me a planet is at 1.83? Dang. Dang. And you guys believe that. The other thing I'm being asked to point out here is the giving is receiving. Giving is receiving. The energy of the universe is merciful. The Princess of Mercy. If we really look at mercy, like really look at mercy, really, I can paint a scenario for you, but we're not going to get that graphic with it. If we're really going to think about mercy, who are we asking for mercy from? It's not God. It's not the devil. The devil would never give you mercy. An enemy would never give you mercy, no matter how much you pleaded and cried. A lover scorned will never show mercy. A mother whose children are being harassed will never show mercy. So as a species, why would you ask for mercy from anything, including your creator? You're not asking for mercy from other people. I mean, if you're the goddess of mercy itself and people are praying to you, what would their prayers be, right? Oh, have mercy, forgive this person. Oh, have mercy, heal that person. Oh, have mercy, redeem this person. Oh, have mercy, forgive me, for I have sinned, blah, blah, blah. But really, it's you, that person, talking to themselves or yourself. First and foremost, it's you talking to God. So if you're asking for mercy, but within your heart there is unforgiveness, how are you to be given mercy? And how are you to be receiving mercy when your hands still hold the judgment of good and evil? And how can you ask for protection from God itself? So silly. Oh God, protect me from the devil you created. What? What? Oh God, have mercy from the horrible person you're pretending to be that's doing horrible things in the world. What? Oh Lord, have mercy, for this person has a disease and they're dying. Oh Lord, have mercy. Oh, oil rigs and boat containers and blah, blah, blah. Okay. What does any of that have to do with God? God didn't sit there doing it all. You guys did. So stop it. I don't get it. Like, are we, really, really, we're busy blaming Yaldabaoth, right? Where's his mom? We're busy like praising Jesus, right? But Jesus has a mom. We're busy praising or fearing the devil, right? But the devil has a mom. We're busy sending demons around to people, right? Or who people sending them to me? Well, guess what? I know Lilith. So who the fuck are you sending demons to? I know their mother. Like, can you guys get to the point of your suffering and take some action? I mean, if you're going to hold the reasons of why you can't forgive and then you want God to forgive you, can you at least have some decency to look at yourself and be like, well, maybe why am I not forgiving myself? Because remember, that energy creates energy blockages, doesn't it? And if you don't see that, then you need to learn about energy. Or we can go all the way around and come right back to it's all love. It's all love. And if you cannot allow that love to flow towards someone or something else without having good and evil in your mind first, then we got to go back to square one. Because if the human species is still missing the point of collective unity without mass mind control, it's kind of silly, isn't it? If people are too afraid to be who they are, courage. My courage gives birth to the divine. If you're too afraid, then the only mercy you're asking for is courage. If your world is at war and you're asking for mercy, then the only mercy you're going to get is you choosing peace. If you're asking for protection, then guess what you're going to be given? Isolation. Until you realize you don't need protecting, you're surrounded by thousands of roses. What are you asking for protection for? Stop being afraid. If you're fighting battles between God and the devil, well, guess what? They both have a mom, and it's the same mom. So why don't you pray to her? Why don't you talk to her? And be like, yo, Mary, your kids are doing some crazy shit here on earth. Can you come and check things out? And then she's going to go, bloop, 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 bloop. It's all fine. It's all love. It's just your perception of what's going on that's incorrect. You want to go pick some flowers? How many of you would argue with her? Oh, but, oh, but, oh, but, okay, okay. Well, she's still going to go pick flowers with her kids. You can sit there hiding and saying you need protection, or you can go hang out with the mother of God, God and the devil, and realize you're part of the family too. Everybody, from a fucking roach to an angel in the sky. And any perception of any of them that you have, all variants, all versions, all possibilities. So have mercy on yourself and realize that everything you're holding on to mentally is actually supposed to be let go and turned into blooms and flowers for other people to see and smell the fragrance of, instead of something for you to consume and poison yourself with. It was never meant to be poison. That apple was meant to be another tree. You're the one that picked it and ate it. I feel like I was just talking to Eve. Oh, Lilith made me eat the fucking apple, and then I got all this, and then Lucifer came and did this, and then the story happened, and then Atlantis happened, and then Lemuria happened, and then oh my god, and then this, and okay. All right, Eve, that's cool. You want to have a latte now? Oh, and then it was World War this, and then it was the Hollow this, and then it was the space race this, and then we all needed protection, and then we all needed mercy, and then we okay. Okay. So what if the great battle between Lucifer and Michael and your apocalypses and your pandemics and your bullshits just don't fucking happen? Then what? Then what? Can you stand before the Mother of God and say, but we were wanting a fight? Give us mercy, give us strength, give us protection, give us this, cure our diseases, cure our this, cure our that. No. No. You do it. Show me how. Some of you guys want to talk about being like priests and pastors, and there she is. Hey, girl. Really, when I say something and I know people and I know energies, and it's not an arrogant thing. I know her. I know her. Don't assume that her children are doing what you're doing in the world. Don't assume her children are doing what you're doing in the world. It's people doing it to each other. The gods aren't lifting a finger because they're already enlightened. They're waiting for you guys. Because if they reached a hand to help humanity right now, do you know what humanity would do? How dare you? How dare you lift us up from the mud where we were blooming? You took us from being a lotus to being a rose. You don't know what you're going to become. So stop complaining about where you are, what you're doing, or what you've gone through. Because a true enlightened deity, a God, an unfathomable, is not going to give you training wheels and then leave those training wheels there the entire time. Lily, can you stop doing that? That's a wall, baby. A wall. Can you climb in like Spider-Man? Then what are you doing? I mean, it's nothing even up there. It's nothing. I know you're just trying to climb, but... Okay, hold on. Hold on. No, of course now you want to go. Okay. I don't know what the hell I was saying anymore. That cat distracted me with that scratching on the wall. This card's come up 3 times while I've been shuffling, and I kept noticing it. The whole thing of the outsiders, we're all outsiders. So if we're all outsiders and we all can kind of come together as outsiders instead of trying to form like not even tribes, but like, because tribes are a whole different thing, families are a whole different thing, but those kind of hierarchical, subservient leader, top of the leader bullshit structures where we take the outsiders and we put them through a labyrinth. If you can just be an outsider and hang out with other outsiders and do cool outsider shit together, then you can just... Oh, hold on. How are you? Oh, how do you know who you truly are? Dark Spider, if I could answer that for you in a single sentence, it would probably be you just do. But I would really suggest you watch the beginning of this video because there was a lot about denial and self-illusion that will help you see how you're deceiving yourself from yourself. No one can tell you who you are, and no one can tell you who you're not. So when you're looking at yourself in the mirror and you're saying good things or bad things to yourself, listen to the other words inside you that you're not saying, but you're listening to. You are who you are. You don't need to put other people's definitions of who they are and who they aren't, or like, oh, this person is clinically this, and we got to categorize them as that, or that person's homeless, so they have to go to a homeless shelter, or this person's a CEO, so they sit at the CEO table. No, we're all outsiders. Everybody. And the moment you stop trying to be like anybody else, you realize what your gifts are. Doesn't matter if you don't look like other people, if your hair doesn't look like them. What does your hair look like on your head? What does your clothing look like on your body? What do you want to put on your body? What thoughts do you want to have in your head? Doesn't matter what's going on in the background of the world or what's going on in your family or society, your school, your friends. It's all the distraction. The truth is you and God. Who are you? You are God. Okay, but God is infinite and eternal and unfathomable. Who are you here? You are God here as an outsider among infinity, separate but inseparable. Who does that make you? Who you are right now. That's who you are. You're the outsider. You're the insider. You're God playing the role of who you are with your first and last name, your birth date, your personality, your fears, your worries, your problems, your solutions. That's who you are. You're not anybody else. There's no confusion to it. I'm who I am. Becca is who's Becca. MC is who MC is. But if you strip out all the stuff of all the other people, are you still the person you are right now? If God came and stripped all the energy of everyone else and all their lessons from you and just left you yourselves, everybody in chat, everybody watching this video, if God just left you yourself in complete isolation for years on end without any human contact, so you would never have any other person's energy or influence, who would you be? You'd be someone completely different than who you are right now with all that influence. So who are you? You're all of it. Who do you want to be? It's all you. You're the labyrinth, you're the minotaur, you're the maze, you're the well, you're the star, you're the planet, you're the stars, you're God, you're the devil, you're death, you're life, you're disease, you're healing. You are the puzzle, you're the puzzle pieces. You're the color of light, you're the entire rainbow. You are the lack of light and the absence, you're the void. It's all you. The thin skin between heaven and earth. That's you. The eternal outsiders, forming a collective consciousness across an entire planet in the underworld, in the abyss, the void of creation, sent by Source through the pleroma, 144,000, if not more, little lights that fell to this earth and created trillions of other lights, cleared a pathway from Source to hell, from hell to Source, up, down, left, right, anchored in, open the heart, the sign of the cross, the cube, the anchor, the open heart. You come down from the top into the core of your true self, your willpower, your solar plexus, yourself, disconnected from all of God. And then you anchor into the darkness like a seed. And then you rise back up, the heart opens, and then you bring balance to the masculine and feminine, and then you ascend to godhood, because God is neither male nor female, it is both. God is neither life nor death, it is both. You are all of it. You get to choose every breath you take who you're going to be next, which goes right back to the beginning of this reading with, are you ready to let go of who you've been right now to be who you want to be, and then to let go of that version too to be who you're going to be after that. And if you're busy trying to fit in with people and like, oh, you can't sit with us, I don't want to. Who wants to sit with you? I got my own chair over here, I don't need yours. If you can't say that to the entire world, where you're like seeing what the world's doing and you're like, I'm not doing that, I'm going to go sit over here and do my own thing. If you can't do that and be okay, then there's more inner work to do. But if you can be alone with yourself and know that you're never alone, then you can do some stuff in the world, because you're not distracted by all the ages and civilizations and timelines. Instead, you're focusing on you and how you can better where you stand. I hope that makes sense. I hope that it tickled something inside of you to where like it puts a sense of ease in your mind, to where you recognize that it's okay for you to not be okay, and when that happens, to listen to it instead of try to drown it, avoid it, fuck it away, sleep it away, eat it away. Just ask yourself, why are you feeling so and so? What can I do to help you feel better? What would help you smile? And when you start talking bad to yourself, or people are talking bad at themselves and you notice it, that's when two outsiders come together to be one person. And you go, it's okay if you hate yourself right now. I'll love you for both of us until you're ready to love yourself more. Instead of saying, go love yourself. No one's going to love you until you love yourself. Which is true, but at the same time, people need support. People need compassion and comfort and mercy. If they can't give it to themselves, it's our job as those that can to give it to them. Yeah, MC. And those people are attracted by what you're feeling on the inside. So if you're feeling very confused and, self-harming or whatever, or if there's like treachery inside, you're going to find people like that. And if you're just kind of isolated and by yourself and alone, you're going to probably attract people who crave that. But the way they bring it to you is through like weird fear energy. I've experienced that personally. I've had a lot of people wanting to be my friend, but they come to me with like shady fucking behavior. And I'm like, why can't you just be honest? Like, there's no reason to play any kind of role. We attract what we don't want to attract. I don't know how much simpler I can put that for you guys. So if you're constantly thinking, oh, I'm so broke, or I'm so this, or these people are so that, you're going to be surrounded by exactly that. And the key for that is, the benefit for that is, it helps you realize when to say, again, like before an hour ago in the video, when to say, fuck this. You have to be able to call out your own bullshit before you can call out anybody else's, or even see that anyone else has bullshit. Because if you can't call yourself out, anybody in the world, on self negative and detrimental behavior, then everything you're going to see from other people is going to reflect what you're hiding in yourself. It's kind of like this. If I can give this to you in a little example here. So there's a message coming in to you, to whoever, and it's this message here. There's a message coming in here for this, right? But if you're not even willing to see what the message is, it probably just looks like a white background with me holding two cards. You can't even really see that there's an underlying message within that's meant for you to analyze within yourself. Get it? It's kind of like me showing you this but not saying a word. You would then assume and associate certain words with that. But when you're doing that, certain phrases and things in your mind, right? With just me holding this up, you have a word association in your mind. That word association is what attracts things to you in your life. So if somebody says money and the first thing, the first 10 things you think about are horrible things, then money coming to you has to go through all those horrible things. And by the time it gets to you, it's like a penny on the ground. And you're like, I knew it. Well, of course you did. It's really simple. Source is simple. I don't care what anybody tells you. The simplicity and humor of God is the signifier of divine intelligence. Because no enlightened being is going to create conflict or pain without the goal of that being to have the recipient realize it was never necessary, and to never put anyone else through that. There is no other reason, because everything that in creation that can be taught with love and wisdom. But in order for wisdom to be there, it must go through suffering. So if you want to be wise, if you want to live and be an enlightened being and share that wisdom with the world, then you've chosen the path of suffering. And eventually that path has to end. And it transforms into another path, to where you realize that all of that suffering was for nothing, because you could have learned everything with love. And then you got to go all the way back to the beginning to help those people who are going through that shit, which means that within the self, there must be a sense of separation between knowing that what you're teaching is what you're teaching, and what you're experiencing is two different things, because you're like a professor in college teaching students that are freshmen. You're going through the same lessons, but you're not learning the lessons. And if the students think that you're going through the same lessons they're teaching you, they're going to miss the point of the lesson, because they're going to say they're peers, they're equals, they're all broken, they're all, hierarchies, or this professor knows more or knows less. When the point is supposed to be, we're all outsiders. This is what was gained from this path. This is the solution. You don't need to be on this path. You can choose the path of love and do everything with unconditional love, which is the hardest thing in all of creation. To look at a murderer and say nothing, not even feel anything negative. To simply look at a character in a TV show and not respond. To have the worst happen to you and to simply walk away. It takes grace. It takes faith. It takes a full and total trust in the Creator to be able to do that. And until people can do that, the path of wisdom is there. The path of the earth and the closed heart chakra is there. The path of separation is there. The path of timelines and matrix realities and constructs and wars, all of them are there. But all the way in the corner, there's one path that says, if you can just forgive, let go, be who you are, and have faith in God and trust, all of this doesn't matter. But this path is mocked by those on this path. So they say, oh, just be yourself, so much that it loses meaning. When it at its simplest, it's be yourself. And then people are like, but who's me? Okay, back we go again. Trust yourself. Well, how can I trust myself if I don't know who I am? Okay, we're going back again. Let go of everything you've been taught and learned in this life. Does that mean the English language too? Okay, we're going back again. It's just you and God and all of this. Okay, but God is also the devil, right? So doesn't that mean that God's a narcissistic, abusive asshole? Okay, we're going right back to the start again. Do you see? All of that can be avoided if the being experiencing life is in a state of grace. Let it be. Just let it flow. For just a few seconds in your life, close your eyes and pretend you're floating in a stream and all you can hear is water rushing. Can you? I love you guys. I hope this helps. I'm going to not. No, we're not going to continue this. Sorry. I'm tired. I love you guys. Take care of yourselves. I'm going to go. I'll probably do more of these where it's just live and you guys can be in the chat room because I don't know. It just feels different to me. And I guess that's what I was learning today, or being asked to learn today, that I can reach deeper with you guys if I can hear what you're asking. Instead of having to tune in so much, I fry my own nervous system out. So I'm going to do these with the chat room from most of the time. And I love you guys. Take care of yourself. Probably see you tomorrow, maybe. I don't know. Bye.